The Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Then Peter and the other disciple set out and went toward the tomb. The two were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent down to look in and saw the linen wrappings lying there, but he did not go in. Then Simon Peter came following him and went into the tomb. He saw the linen wrappings lying there and the cloth that had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. Then the other disciple, who reached the tomb first, also went in and saw and believed. For as yet they did not understand the scripture, that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples returned to their homes. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Then Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Please be seated. I am not a morning person. When Ben and I were meeting 3 years ago to plan my first Easter here at Atonement, I was secretly quite pleased that you did not have the tradition of an Easter sunrise service. Now, don't get me wrong, I have attended and participated in many sunrise services in my life, most of them when I was younger. I have even enjoyed and been moved by them. But that doesn't change the fact that I am not a morning person. So when I hear in today's gospel that Mary came to the tomb before dark, I find I'm not surprised that it took her a while to understand that something amazing and out of the ordinary was happening. Why did Mary come so early? I imagine that she had already been up for a while. Grief has a way of robbing you of sleep. And the stress and exhaustion of the past few days, the arrest, the trial, and execution of Jesus, probably left her with a bad case of insomnia. So Mary, unable to rest, comes to the tomb to mourn. And when she arrives, filled with grief and fatigue, she is met by an unexpected sight. The stone is rolled away. Faced with this sight, the stone pushed back aside and the tomb gaping open, the most likely explanation is that someone has stolen the body. Grave robbers, perhaps, or maybe the Romans. Repressive regimes would sometimes leave the bodies of those who they had killed in full view as a deterrent to others who might be tempted to make trouble. So, not even looking inside, Mary runs to find someone to tell. Someone who might understand her confusion over what she has found. She finds Peter and the other disciple. They have taken away the Lord, she says, and I do not know where they have laid him. She expects them to know what to do. Unfortunately, Peter and the other disciple are not much help. Oh, they come to the tomb. They see that the stone is gone. They even look inside to verify that the body of Jesus is no longer there. But after seeing for themselves that Mary's statement is true, that someone has taken the body away, they go home. So Mary is left alone, and she still doesn't understand what's happening. She just stays where she is, weeping. And so would most of us, I imagine. Resurrection is not something that we expect. After the traumatic experience of watching Jesus die, of seeing his battered body laid in the tomb, the last thing any reasonable person would think is that he might rise from the dead. Next, Mary sees two angels. Certainly not an everyday occurrence. She has a brief conversation with them, but she still doesn't get it. Even when Jesus himself appears, she doesn't get it. She thinks he's the gardener. Her mind is full of memories of that dark Friday when Jesus hung on the cross. Her heart is full of her own grief. All she can see is death. So when life comes, even when it's staring her in the face, she doesn't get it. Jesus has risen from the dead, but Mary hasn't. It happens to all of us at some point or another. We miss the life that is right in front of us because our minds are full of death. Death that can come in so many forms. The living deaths that so many people endure. The deaths we suffer in our spirits. Some people live lives that are crushed from the outset by the low expectations of those around them. They've been told that they'll never amount to anything because of where they come from, or who their parents are, or what has happened to them. Their hope is dead. Others have been let down or failed too often, and they're afraid to reach out beyond the safe and familiar. Unable to recover from their many disappointments, they retreat in fear, missing the chance to really live their lives. Their courage is dead. Still others have stopped caring about what they do, about how their actions affect others. When they see poverty and injustice, they shrug their shoulders and say, "What can I do?" Or, "This has nothing to do with me." Whether it's compassion fatigue or just the lure of hanging on to their own wealth, their conscience is dead. There are so many deaths we can die, so many ways the world can damage us, that it's rare to find someone who is fully alive. Most of us have become in some way deadened to the world, deadened to its pains and challenges, and deadened to its joy and hope. Life can actually seem easier that way. Feeling can be painful. Living life to the fullest can be frightening and challenging. So many people prefer to live half-dead, cautious, cut-down lives. Back when Mel Gibson's film, The Passion of the Christ, was released, it generated a lot of buzz on TV and radio talk shows. One program I heard started with the presenter saying something like, "The only reason that we care about this victim of Roman justice from 2,000 years ago is that Christians believe that Jesus died for their sins." I found myself thinking, no, this man is wrong and embarrassingly misinformed. Certainly it's important that Jesus died, that he continued his work even knowing what would happen. But his death is not what set off the Christian revolution that changed the face of history. His death was not what the disciples got really excited about. If that had been the most important thing to them, they would have been out preaching it on Good Friday. But they weren't. The news they shouted from the rooftops in the early days of the church was not Jesus is dead, but Jesus is risen. It was life, not death, that Mary needed to find on that first Easter morning. Life, not death, that she needed to reach for. But she didn't get it. She couldn't see it, not for a long time. Her eyes were full of tears. Her mind was full of crucifixion, pain, and loss. There was no room in her spirit for life. It was only when Jesus called her name that the spell was broken. Mary, he said, and suddenly life broke through. It was only when she heard her name that things fell into place. Mary, said Jesus, this is about you. It's you I'm talking to. Life isn't something that happens to someone else. It's something that is for you. When we're living in the grip of death, weighed down by our losses and disappointments, restricted by low expectations, we need to hear the voice of Jesus calling us. We need to hear the risen Christ say our names. Laddie, Bev, Joyce, Lorraine, Bob. This resurrection business, it's for you, about you, happening to you, not just for someone else. Not for someone you think is more deserving or who could make better use of it. It's you, says Jesus, that I am talking to. It's you I'm calling into new life. Life in all its fullness. This Easter, take a nice long look at your life. Christ is risen, but are you? Are there parts of your life that are dead? Maybe you've killed off your conscience. Maybe your hope has died from too many disappointments. Maybe your capacity from joy and love and excitement and laughter have withered away from lack of use. This Easter, Christ calls you to life. Listen, and you will hear him speak your name. Christ is risen. Are you? Amen.